with the news media, how do they prioritise or choose a list of daily issues? Like, how do they go about choosing what they're going to put out first and last and whatnot?
Well, we have a planning diary, so a lot of our stories come to us in advance via press releases, which I think we're going to talk about in stage 2. So we kind of an idea of something happening, say, in 4 weeks' time. We'll put it in the diary, and we have a planning meeting every Wednesday. So for an hour, where we look through what we think are going to be relevant stories for the Midlands, and ITV Central cover East and West Midlands, so that's a huge patch, the biggest outside London in terms of regional news patch. So we cater for, thousands of people across that whole patch. And we look at visuals, so, what we're going to see at this event. Is it good for TV? Is it good for the web? Because we don't distinguish something just for TV. It's got to work alongside our web, because the coverage is, as mentioned earlier, the web is kind of going forward with stories. So it starts with planning, if there is something relevant. Obviously, with breaking news, you can't plan that. It will just react to it on the day. But with stories that, let's say, for example, let's say it's 10 years of celebrations in Leicester, for example, and there's something special happening, then we'd know about that early on, and we say, right, who can we speak to on the day? What can we see? Parking, all the things that will make it easy for us to turn up, film for about an hour, speak to relevant people, maybe do some voxes, i.e. speak to people from the community. Is there going to be more than one location? I don't know if you're aware, but with ITV Central, because we have 2 programmes a day, we have an early deadline for one. So we potentially record one, say 4:45. It could be East or West Midlands, and then the second one is live at 6. So as long as nothing happens in between that period, we're good to go. But because we've got the same amount of staff for East and West, we've got to be really tight and really selective with our stories. So I'm not saying that you have to be extra special with your story, but it does have to stand out in that way. And because we're TV, the visuals matter. So if you say, we've got a book launch, well, that's fine, but why is it special? Why should people tuning in at 6 or online want to see that? Is it somebody famous? Though that's not always the criteria. But your story has to matter to the Midlands. So I think when we talk about press releases, we'll look more about how to make it stand out.
Have you ever experienced any discrimination or racism within media, or do you think it exists within media?
I personally haven't. I mean, I've done a lot of work, both on screen and off screen, and I've been around for quite a few years now, and I've kind of seen it develop, and there's been a lot more sort of Asian involvement, people from Asian backgrounds taking part in media, which is great to see, because there's not enough of us, in this form of work. Whether it exists or not, I mean, that's not for me to comment, I don't think.